Welcome to a crucial discussion, nation building versus nation selling. Today we explore the legacy of India's public sector and the sweeping impact of privatization on its citizens. This debate isn't just about economics, it's about the values that shape our nation, the opportunities available to our youth, and the future we want to build together. Let's begin by understanding the original vision behind India's public sector and how it aimed to create a more equitable society. After independence, India adopted a mixed economy model. The state took the lead in core industries like steel, energy, transport, and banking. This wasn't just about controlling resources, it was about ensuring that economic growth benefited everyone, not just a select few. Public sector undertakings, or PSUs, became instruments of social justice, providing stable jobs and supporting industrial growth. Education and technical institutions, such as the IITs, were closely aligned with this vision, nurturing talent for nation building. Public sector's focus was on equity, making sure that every citizen, regardless of background, had access to opportunities. PSUs were not just businesses, they were vehicles for social change. They created jobs, supported marginalized communities, and built a sense of national service. This approach helped millions aspire to stable government jobs and contributed to collective progress. The vision was clear: strengthen the nation's economic foundation while promoting social justice. Recent years, the Modi government has aggressively pushed for privatization. Major PSUs like Air India, BPCL, and LIC have seen significant disinvestment. The stated goal is to reduce the fiscal burden on the government and boost private sector efficiency. Alongside this, there's been a strong emphasis on digital infrastructure, startups, and attracting foreign investment. But what does this shift mean for ordinary citizens and the nation's long-term goal? Privatization is often promoted as a way to make industries more efficient and innovative. The government argues that by selling stakes in PSUs, it can raise funds, reduce inefficiencies, and encourage competition. Digital India initiatives and infrastructure upgrades have reached millions, and there's a new focus on entrepreneurship and skill-based hiring. But are these benefits reaching everyone equally, or are some groups being left behind? Public sector once inspired generations of students to pursue stable government jobs. Subsidized education and training were closely linked to these careers, fostering a sense of national service. With privatization, there's a noticeable shift. Students now aspire to private sector roles or entrepreneurship, facing increased competition and skill-based hiring. However, access to these new opportunities is uneven. Urban youth often benefit more than their rural or marginalized peers. As privatization accelerates, young people are encouraged to become entrepreneurs or join private companies. While this can foster innovation, it also brings new challenges. The private sector rarely offers the same job security or skill development as PSUs. Many young workers find themselves in unstable jobs, working long hours with little time for family. The dream of stable, dignified employment is becoming harder to achieve. Benefits most from privatization? Private corporations and investors have gained access to lucrative sectors like telecom, aviation, and banking. Strategic disinvestment has opened doors for profit-making, but it has also led to increased corruption and declining service quality. For urban youth and entrepreneurs, new opportunities have emerged in tech, logistics, and fintech. However, the lack of government support has led to high startup failure rates and increased job insecurity. For middle-class consumers, privatization has brought mixed results. While there's more choice in some sectors, service quality in telecom, aviation, and banking has often worsened due to monopolies. Government support for corporate monopolies, sometimes through electoral funding, has raised concerns. Digital ID irregularities and infrastructure issues fueled by corruption have further eroded public trust in these services. Not everyone has benefited from privatization and globalization. Public sector employees face job losses, reduced security, and loss of pension benefits. Rural and marginalized communities have seen their access to subsidized services shrink, as privatized utilities prioritize profit over universal access. Students from low-income backgrounds struggle to compete in a private job market without adequate support or infrastructure. Unions and labor advocates have lost bargaining power, raising concerns about unchecked corporate influence. For many public sector employees, privatization has meant downsizing, contract-based hiring, and a loss of job security. Pension benefits and career progression opportunities have diminished, leaving many workers uncertain about their future. The sense of pride and stability that once came with a government job is fading, replaced by anxiety and insecurity. Rural and marginalized communities have been hit especially hard. As privatized utilities focus on profit, access to essential services like banking, insurance, and transport has declined. These communities often lack the digital infrastructure or financial resources to benefit from new private sector opportunities, deepening existing inequalities. Students from low-income backgrounds now face a more competitive job market, with fewer government-linked opportunities and greater pressure to upskill. Yet support for skill development is lacking. Labor unions, once powerful advocates for workers' rights, have seen their influence wane. Concerns about monopolies and lack of regulatory oversight are growing, as workers struggle to protect their interests. What can be done? Citizens can demand greater transparency in the privatization process, pushing for public audits and clear criteria before disinvestment. Supporting unions and campaigns for job security and pension safeguards is vital. Advocating for inclusive digital and financial services ensures that rural and marginalized communities aren't left behind. Empowering youth through mental health support, mentorship, and rural outreach can help bridge the opportunity gap. Instead of dismantling the public sector, we should encourage innovation within PSUs, especially in critical areas like health, transport, and education. The public sector was built on the promise of dignity, equity, and shared prosperity. Privatization must evolve to serve all citizens, not just a privileged few. By shaping reforms that prioritize inclusion and fairness, we can honor the legacy of nation building and ensure a brighter future for everyone.